You should have seen me. You should have seen me. I was shocked, but overjoyed, but celebrating. Like, I was out of my mind. Thank you for joining me as I recap the 97th Oscars. The highs, the lows, the winners, the losers. This time around, the Oscars were hosted by none other than Conan O'Brien. Look, I'm not a Jimmy Kimmel hater at all, like some of the internet decides to be, but after you get the same guy to host like 4 times in a row, you gotta change it up. You gotta find someone who's a little bit more in touch with the audience, and Conan O'Brien fit the bill and then some. I'm also like not the biggest Conan stan compared to like the rest of the internet, just cause I don't think I've like watched enough of his bits to be like, wow, Conan above all the other talk show hosts. But he really nailed it. He really brought his signature irreverence and charm and silliness. He really didn't hold back. I mean, even the Kendrick Lamar and Drake joke was fantastic. It did feel like a typical, you know, movie award ceremony monologue, but it didn't feel like someone wrote it for him. It felt like the jokes came really naturally to Conan, which is really refreshing. There was also a James Bond tribute, which I guess was there to honor Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, who got like an honorary Oscar this year and have now retired and finished their run with a character. But it did feel kind of random. I was like, where is all this Bond stuff coming from? Like, this would have worked really well if it was a couple of years ago when No Time to Die came out. Now we're on a bit of a hiatus until, you know, they reboot it with a new Bond. So it's kind of like, okay, what are we doing here? Doja Cat comes in and performs Diamonds Are Forever. Doja Cat, of all people, I don't know how they chose her to do that song, but she was up for the challenge because, again, I think she's fine, but her rendition of the song is really good. But yeah, besides the Cynthia and Ariana performance, which that I understand, because like Wicked came out, so it's like Wizard of Oz is such a pivotal movie in Oscars history. 85 years ago now, the anniversary, so it's like a journey through Wizard of Oz themed music with these 2 Oscar nominees. I thought that was a really good opening, but everything else was just really random. And it's like, why did we switch out the best original song nominee performances for this? Like, don't we want to see Elton John performing his song from his documentary, or Selena Gomez up there performing Mi Camino? Like, I feel like we were robbed. I really liked how they presented costumes and cinematography. They took one actor from each nominated film. For example, Lily Rose Depp in Nosferatu, Bowen Yang in Wicked, John Lithgow in Conclave, Elle Fanning in A Complete Unknown. They get them to stand and talk about the costume designer, or later the cinematographer, and their craft. And I feel like it's a really lovely way to show respect to the quote below the line categories that usually the actors and directors only get. So I really loved that, and I hope they continue that in the future and play around with that in more categories beyond just acting. About the winners themselves, I'm mostly really happy. Kieran Culkin winning for A Real Pain. I thought he gave such a beautiful performance, and I really don't think anyone could have deserved this more than him. Zoe Saldana gave a really emotional speech, which doesn't shock me at all, considering how, I guess, emotional she's been throughout this awards run, and with good reason. She's finally getting her flowers, and I was so elated by this win. Like, I think we all knew it was coming, but I was just so happy for her to get this magnificent moment that she deserves for this movie. Probably the best speech is Adrian Brody. Like, he went on for a really long time, but he also talked about some important messages, the themes that the film spreads involving otherness and unchecked hate and anti-Semitism, which I thought was really powerful. But he also talked about the film and his journey as an actor and a man, having been there before with the pianist. I also love the way he like shut up the band trying to play him off. Now let's talk about, of course, the biggest part of the night, a Nora sweep. Nora won 5 of the 6 categories that it was nominated for, and Sean Baker was the winner for 4 of them, which means he's the most awarded person in one night for the same movie. I think Sean Baker has kind of become like the hero of the film community and the industry this last year. Like, the way he is, not that he hasn't already been beloved by the industry, but he was kind of like not an Oscar darling before this, and now that he's like getting all these platforms. He's really been shouting out indie cinema and filmmakers really, I guess, building things from the ground up. And of course, the most surreal moment that I was not expecting but loved, Mikey Madison winning Best Actress. You should have seen me. You should have seen me. I was shocked but overjoyed but celebrating. Like, I was out of my mind. I really thought Demi Moore had this, seemed like she was on the right track to get this Oscar with the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, the SAG, with Mikey only having won the BAFTA. Demi also has this really popular, veteran, having been in the game for a long time, finally getting their flowers. And I really do love Demi, and I think it would have been a great moment for her. But Mikey Madison was my personal favorite to win this Academy Award for Best Actress. I know I've mentioned this before on the channel, but I actually had the chance to interview Mikey in September when this film screened at TIFF, and now I'm just going crazy that I've been on the red carpet of a movie that won Best Picture and spoken to an actress who won Best Actress at the Oscars. So a special shout out again to my team from First Reviews, especially Stefano Bove, for that opportunity, which I will now always treasure. Now, if I were to decide the winner, there's only two categories that I really would have changed. First of all, Best Animated Feature. Flow is a beautiful movie. It's wonderful, but I loved The Wild Robot so much. I really thought it was going to win. I was really excited for it to win. I even rewatched it and was holding out hope. That movie is just... I absolutely loved it. Flow is very deserving. It's a great film. Just in my heart, The Wild Robot was my personal favorite and would have had my vote, even though, look, Flow is like an independent Latvian animated film, so it's still a cool feat, and I strongly recommend you check it out, as well as The Wild Robot, of course. The one other thing I would have changed is I really wish Brady Corbet had won Best Director. I think Anora is going to stand the test of time as a unique and important Best Picture winner. I feel like we're going to rank it high when it comes to winners of this award in the 21st century. But in terms of directing, the way The Brutalist looked, the way it felt, the technology that went into it, I really think Brady Corbet deserved directing, even if Anora is a phenomenal choice for picture. I don't know, it just saddens me that Brady went home empty-handed. Like, Sean Baker won 4 times, maybe make him win 3 times, and then give Corbet, something. I just can't help but feel that despite winning 3 times, The Brutalist went home a little bit under-awarded at the Oscars. The Brutalist to me is just such a masterpiece that, at least for directing, I think it should have been given something for how much of a feat it was. We have not seen anything as monumental as The Brutalist in so long. Even though Brady, I think, won some more precursors than Sean leading up to the Oscars, I think the reason Sean ended up winning Best Director is because people really love his guerrilla filmmaking style, the way he builds a film production from ground zero, the way he builds characters, the way he builds collaboration, the way he creates authenticity in his settings. So yeah, those are my snubs, surprises, celebrations, and so on for the 97th Oscars. Let me know which winners you enjoyed the most, which shocked you the most, which people you thought should have won and didn't. Do you think Adrian Brody should have won over Timothée Chalamet? Do you think Mikey Madison should have won over Demi Moore? Do you think Anora should have won picture? Do you think, like me, Brady Corbet should have won at least something? And of course, are you Team Flow or The Wild Robot? Let me know, and I'd love to continue the conversation in the comments below.